Hi, my name is Patrick Ray, the writer-director of They Wait in the Dark, and you are listening to Horror Squad Podcast.
Hello, welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 272. Tonight we're talking about Cocaine Bear, which is a 2023 release. I think it might be in theaters somewhere still, but it's definitely streaming on VOD. I'm one of your co-hosts, Todd. We have Joe and we have Steve. Gentlemen, what's going on?
Hello. How's everyone doing today?
Not great to be honest.
We'll just lead with, you know what, we have some somber news, so Steve, you want to take it?
Yeah, we do. So, we talk about our Discord all the time, and it's a great how great of a community is in there, and the people are in it, and we do movie night. We actually just did a movie night on Friday, and unfortunately, we learned last Friday that one of our long time listeners, somebody who's been following the three of us back to our YouTube days, that's how far back she went. Fortunately, we found out she passed away at the age of 38. Her name was Michelle. You may have heard her name before because she used to ask some questions, on that segment, and she was very active in the Discord. And I know a lot of people really liked her. She was just a great person to chat with. She was on all our movie nights, and we had a lot of fun with her. And we just want to send our condolences to her family and to her friends. And to our, podcasting community, our Horror Squad Discord, because a lot of them are very sad right now. She was just cool to everyone, and it's tough news. So in her honor, we're going to dedicate next episode to her and review the last movie that she suggested that we watch, actually. And I've never seen it, actually. I don't know if you guys have. It's called Gunjam Haunted Asylum. It's actually got a pretty decent rating on Letterboxd, and it's a haunted house flick, so I'm always down for that. So we're gonna do that in her honor, since it's something she wanted us to watch at some point. And so that's all I have to say. It sucks, and it's just the way it is. It's life is precious, and hug your loved ones because you just never know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to even kind of do this episode after something like that, and this happens. Yeah, I mean, dedicate this episode in her honor, and next episode for sure. Obviously, I'm excited to watch that movie, and she'll definitely be on my mind while I'm watching it next week. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation, and our hearts go out to everyone out there that's been affected by this. And yeah, I had not a lot of interactions with her, but every time I did, she was super sweet. So yeah.
Yeah, I mirror exactly what both of you guys said. I mean, Michelle, she was one of the few people in our book club. It's hard to read and set time aside for reading and things like that. And she was always active on that, and just a great smile, great laugh, and it fucking sucks. So rest in peace, and thoughts and prayers and everything with her family. And now we have to awkwardly transition into talking about a movie because so we're here about. So rest in peace to her. And yeah. I mean, how do you transition to talk about Cocaine Bear? It's like,
yeah, right. And
it's
there is no good
Yeah.
transition.
No.
Just so you all know, we're moving questions to the end of the show going forward. We just feel it's a better place for that segment. But we did get a quick message from our usual question sender guy, Chuck, who was also close to Michelle, and he just sent a little kind of thing to honor her. So Chuck, take it away.
Hey, Horror Squad, Chuck here. No questions tonight. Just wanted to give a shout out to Michelle. We're going to miss her dearly, and it's a little darker now that she's not here. Shout out to our pterodactyl. Have a great episode, guys. Look forward to it.
All right. Well, watch.
Yeah, sure. Joe, do you have a punishment for us yet?
I don't yet. I've been pretty
Excellent.
I've been pretty busy, so I haven't had the time. But I'll sit down and I'll definitely get a Punishment movie for next week for you guys. Especially Steve, I kind of got to vet it through him because him being the Canadian man he is, he doesn't get all the movies over on Tubi. So I'll find something shitty for the both of you equally, and I'll throw it out on next week's episode. All right, so I would guess I can start tonight. Okay, so the first movie I watched, 2023 release, a movie by the name of Children of the Corn. My expectations were extremely low going into this. This movie, interestingly enough, was like one of the very first movies filmed during the pandemic. So I was interested to see how they were going to handle that as well. And I got to say, this one is a lot different, I guess you could say, in a lot of ways than sort of the original Children of the Corn, but it still has the same type of beats. Basically, the corn is dying in the town, and the townsfolk decides to, destroy the corn in order to just cut their losses and sell the land. But the kids of the town don't like that. And our main girl here, I believe her name is Eden, she has been visited by He Who Walks, and her and the kids sort of team up and start taking out the adults of the town for trying to destroy the corn. So yeah, I mean, similar beats, but it's very different at the same time. It wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. The little girl who plays Eden is really good in it. It's actually pretty well acted throughout. It's actually like really well shot. Surprisingly, I thought this was going to be like really low budget and shitty, but it's not bad. And we actually get to see the monster, He Who Walks, and he has actually a pretty cool design to him. Now, it's nothing amazing, but I think it's actually quite serviceable. It was a decent one-time watch. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 over on Letterboxd. The ending, like, I would probably give it a 3, but the ending is so fucking stupid that I had to drop it to a 2.5. But not bad. It's probably one of the better Children of the Corn sequels.
Just to piggyback off Joe, because I also watched Children of the Corn. I'm not going to say too much more, but I kind of agree with what Joe said. I really went into this expecting the worst, and I kind of enjoyed it. There are some good kills in this, good moments. The acting is good, especially for something with all those kids. Kids can really be hit and miss, and I thought they were pretty good in this one. And it's a really quick film. It didn't feel like it lasted long. I don't remember what the runtime was, but it wasn't 2 hours. It was maybe like more like an hour 20-ish, which is perfect for a film like this. And I'm with Joe. Like, I actually would have given it 3.5 had it not been for the ending, which is a bit of a mess. So I dropped it down to a 3, but that is way more than I expected out of this film. So I think if you see it streaming somewhere, I'd recommend checking it out. It's worth a watch at the very least.
Interesting. Okay, I have one, and it's borderline sci-fi, but I'll put it in here anyway. Aliens versus Predator 2, also known as Requiem. This came out in 2007, and I've been going through the Alien franchise with my son, and this was next. Man, this movie sucks, dude. Like, it's got such a great setup. AVP1 is no masterpiece, but it's still pretty damn good. And at the end of that film, you have the Predator infected with the xenomorph, and it like chest burster comes out, and like, oh, hell yeah, we're gonna get a freaking Predator alien hybrid. And this movie picks up right where that left off. The Pred alien wreaks havoc on the Predator ship, and it crashes back to Earth. And then the Predator home world, they send like, I don't know, some super hunter, I don't know what the fuck he is, but he comes out to clean it up. And his whole shtick is that he's going to come down to Earth and take care of the xenomorphs and all that shit. But the problem they have with it is like, once again, we have a focus on these human characters, which is okay. I know we need like a grounded perspective, but instead of having like one person or like two or whatever, we have fucking like 7. We got this soldier that comes back, and that's the fucking terrible plot line because it's so stupid. Then we have the sheriff that like gets walked over by his town people. We have the waitress that's looking for her deputy. We have the mom that's looking for her husband and son. We have the convict that came back from being arrested, and we don't know why, breaking and entering or some bullshit, but he comes back, and we have his plot point. Then we have the sheriff that's obsessed with that fucking kid for some reason. Then we have the pizza boy. Then we have the hot chick. Then we have the town bullies. I'm like, what are we doing? Let's focus on the Predator and the fucking xenomorphs, please, for the love of God. And then to top it all off, The film has got some of the most horrendous lighting I've ever seen. Even in the background, not the background, the DVD extras, you have the lighting technician. He literally has his lighting scope or whatever to see how the film's going to react to it. And he's like, there's not enough light in the shot. And no one fucking listens to him. I'm like, he's a lighting tech. This is his job. And he's literally on film saying, hey, there's not enough light in the scene. And they're like, fine. I mean, we'll fucking do what we want. Alien vs. Predator 2 sucks butt. And this movie killed that AVP franchise. So fuck you. 1.5 out of 5. I watched it on Blu-ray, but I think, no, it's just VOD on YouTube. So AVP 2.
Yeah, I have to call bullshit on that one, Todd. I don't think you actually saw AVP Requiem, because no one can see AVP Requiem because it's so goddamn dark
So dark.
that you can't see anything in the fucking movie.
I'm like, what is that?
It's so weird. It's like so dark.
Yeah, it's
That's
awful, man.
That's crazy. All right, so my first film is a continuing my little thing here where I'm watching a Psycho film every week until I'm done. So this one is 1986's Psycho 3, which is actually directed by Anthony Perkins in this case. So this one takes place right after Psycho 2. There's some journalists that are starting to ask some questions about what went on at the Bates Motel and starting to get suspicious that, wait a minute, there are way too many murders for this to just be a coincidence. So the journalist is starting to go after Norman. Meanwhile, everyone in the town somehow believes him. They just like, oh, it's coincidence that everyone keeps disappearing at this motel. And the movie is kind of about Norman trying to weasel his way out of not getting arrested, essentially. So that's really the gist of the story. Yeah, I don't want to spoil more of it because it would spoil part 2, which I think people should watch, particularly the end, because this movie focuses a lot on the last kind of like 5 minutes of Psycho 2 and kind of the effects of what happens at the last 5 minutes of Psycho 2. So I don't want to say it. But I think this is good. I don't think it's a great film, but I think it's a good film. And it just continues that this is a really underrated series, which I think because the original Psycho is so highly regarded, it's like, this movie can't have good sequels. That's ridiculous, but they do. And that's just, this continues that thing. And I think a lot of it is Anthony Perkins. He's so fucking good as Norman Bates. And in Psycho 2 and 3, you really get to dive deep into his psyche and why he does things. And I think that's really interesting. And I think it enhances the first Psycho a lot, because if you go back and watch the first Psycho, you see like different things because of his performance and what kind of person he is. So I highly recommend that people check it out. So that's Psycho 3, which I watched over on VOD, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars.
Excellent. Just wait for Mick Garris to ship the bed in part 4.
Oh, God, it's a prequel, right? Part 4, I think.
I don't know. He's in it.
I think it's half. At least the synopsis is that it's a, he's in it, but it's also a prequel. So we'll see.
All right. Well, I got one more tonight, and I'm sure Steve's going to want to talk about this too, because I didn't join the movie club, unfortunately, this week, but I decided to watch the movie anyway, as I watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Now, I was excited to watch this, but my expectations were very curbed, because once people went out and finally started to seeing it, I saw mainly bad things about it, but I still went in with decent expectations, just because I thought it was going to be a lot of fun. And there's some fun in here, but overall I think they really missed the mark overall. I actually really love the intro to this movie, and it kind of, I wish they stayed with that. So the way they set this movie up is that, Christopher Robin is out there with Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore, Piglet, and maybe the owl. I can't remember, but they're kind of all, hanging out, having a great time and stuff like that. Christopher Robin decides to leave, go off to college, as most, young adults do. And when he leaves them, he basically leaves them for dead, essentially. They depended on Christopher Robin so much in their lives that essentially they can't find food and whatnot, and they're freezing to death and whatnot. So as a last desperation, they decide to eat Eeyore. This destroys them so much and breaks their souls that they swear off humans and become feral. And that's kind of what our setup is. And it was great. Like, the intro to this was
amazing.
Yeah, right. The intro, and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. Like, it was all done kind of illustrated, but then we see Christopher Robin returning, and that's when we get to our live action. He's bringing his girlfriend now, and that's kind of how it opens. And I wish they stayed with that the whole movie, but it's only like the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then we get the main part of the movie, which is like, this group of like women going on sort of a girls trip, and they're just like really uninteresting. And at that point, it just delves into a really sort of generic, uninteresting slasher, in my opinion. I think they made a mistake. I mean, obviously this movie's low budget, but they made no effort whatsoever to make Pooh and Piglet look like animals. To me, it just came off as humans in Halloween masks, albeit really good looking Halloween masks. But they're wearing overalls and work boots, and just at least put Pooh in one of those cheap looking like Winnie the Pooh costumes where he actually looks like a bear. And I might have been more down for this. So yeah, I mean, to me it just didn't come off that they were actually Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. It just looked like two dudes in slasher masks essentially. So that threw me off a lot. So there's some decent kills here, but they use CGI blood, which to me is like a cardinal sin. Once you do that, it automatically drops down like a ton of points for me, just because like it's not hard to fucking use fake blood, in your movies. Like, putting fake CGI blood in post-production, don't do that if you're a filmmaker. Please don't. So yeah, overall, I was just disappointed with this one. Great intro and decent ending, but the ending just kind of ends very abruptly. But I like that they brought Christopher Robin back for the ending. So yeah, I give it a 1.5 out of 5. Not very good. I think there's potential here though. I know they're going to do a sequel, so I think there's potential that maybe they can do something better with the sequel with a little more money. But as it sits, 1.5 out of 5 for me. I'd skip it.
Yeah, so I watched it as part of our movie club, which was a good distraction because we had all just found out that our friend had passed away like right before we started the movie club. And I think this kind of helped a little bit. And we needed something like this, something ridiculous and over the top. And I agree with a lot of what Joe said. The beginning was really cool and the setup was really cool. And I was really kind of into it. The first thing that stood out to me is I know this is a really low budget film, but I thought the sets were really good. Like when they're in 1,000 Acres Woods there, you see all these like crazy, like kind of tree formations and everything like that. I'm like, this is actually pretty cool for something of such a low budget. And they did do practical effects at times, and they were great. I thought they were really cool. But like Joe said, they relied with CGI with some other stuff, and you're like, why? This doesn't look good. It looks so shit and cheap, and it's unfortunate. And Children of the Corn was kind of the same thing, where they had some really great practical effects, but then kind of ruined it with some certain CGI kills that just made no sense. I was really into it. I thought it had solid kills, like I said, and some really gruesome scenes at times. It's just I found the story a little convoluted at times. Like it just went into directions where you're like, this, you don't need this. This is just dumb. And I kept forgetting that Christopher Robin was part of it, and then he like popped back up. It's like, okay, well, I guess he's still around. And like the ending, it just ends like abruptly, like almost like was it The Turning or something like that we watched one time, where I once sat through the credits because I thought that couldn't be it. It was kind of the same thing. We're in movie club and it ends and we're all like silent, and then someone's like, well, I guess it's over. It's weird, but I personally enjoyed it. Now maybe because I was with a group of friends and we were kind of having fun watching it, but I gave it 2.5 stars. I thought it was a decent film, and I think there will be a sequel. So if people are wondering if Tigger is in this, if you're a Winnie the Pooh fan, he is not. And the reason is he goes public domain in 2024. So I'm thinking that they're saving him for the sequel. So to be seen.
Was Piglet like 1.5 feet in the movie?
No,
Tall?
he was full size.
Oh.
They were both
they're
full size.
they're both full size, yeah,
It would have been
adults.
sweet if they had
Yeah.
some puppetry going on. That'd be dope.
Yeah, that would have been, like sort of like they did with Hatching. Like that would have been
for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah, they could. That would have been kind of fun actually. Yeah.
Or even just
But-
a little person, just to make him
Sure.
look different than Pooh, right? Not just have two
Right.
different sizes. And no,
Mhm.
it's just
Were
two.
they like cracked out looking?
You can see them because it's just you're in a mask the whole time, right? Because it's supposed to be their skin.
Right.
They're pretty good masks though, like Joe said. But
Yeah.
you are very aware it's a mask at the same time. So
You get to buy the
Yeah.
Trick or Treat studio when they eventually put the mask out there, Joe.
Well, they're actually so they actually based on low, it is a low budget movie. They actually went and bought 2 masks from Immortal Masks, so you can buy both masks off their website. They're not cheap. They're like $500, I think, or something like that. But they're really nice masks. They move with your face. I mean, they're silicone, so I mean, they're legit. I'm sure you'll see a lot of people maybe cosplaying as Killer Winnie the Pooh at cons coming up. He's going to be actually at a con coming up in September here, and I will not be meeting him. I think I'll pass on that one.
all right. Before we go into trivia, let's get a little pause here, get some coffee, and of course, when we do that, it is with Deadly Grounds coffee.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Trivia. Okay, you heard Joe earlier. He's going to have some punishments for us next week. But as for now, this is a brand new quarter 2 beginning. Just to recap, so far, Joe is in a commanding lead with 24 points, myself 17, Steve 15. But we are starting at zeros for the quarter, and we will do the overall score at the end of the year. So right now we're at zeros. Any man's game. Who would like to lead off today?
I'll go.
Ooh.
All right, and so I'm gonna start us off with 3 letterboxd reviews.
Ooh.
Nice.
Guess the movie.
Let's do it.
All right. All right. That's it. All right. So number 1, I love how little shit anyone gave in the 80s. Also, children should die more in movies. Hashtag children should die more.
Jesus.
Oh,
I have a
guess. Me too.
Me too.
Okay. Number 2. Number 2. This movie's great, but I don't like that it keeps trying to get me to root against the main antagonists, our story's obvious protagonists. And number 3.
I'm just gonna guess Children of the Corn
right.
before Steve does.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Well, I'll take a guess and we're actually no.
Okay.
Because you get I get another hint.
You don't have to. You don't
Yeah,
have
I'll
to,
wait for
yeah.
the other hint.
Okay, number 3. Why is it that when people talk about strong female characters in movies, they never mention this character's mom? Friggin' executing 3 different characters within seconds of finding them?
Is it? Oh,
Ooh, sounds cool.
I thought it was Pet Cemetery at first, but
Incorrect.
Can you say the last one again?
Sure. Why is it that when people talk about strong female characters in movies, they never mention this character's mom? Fucking executing 3 different of these characters within seconds of finding them?
jeez.
Oh man, this is probably gonna be one that's gonna like kick myself over. I have no idea.
Neither do I.
What you got?
Well, the movie is a very popular one.
Ooh.
The movie is Gremlins.
Oh.
Okay, I see it. She fucking slaughters him in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Surprisingly dark scene for a lighthearted movie. Like, holy shit. I'll go. I also have 3 letterbox reviews. Hint number 1. Total piece of shit. It doesn't even have the common decency to do more than 1 joke.
No, Cocaine Bear.
Correct, because I fucking gave it away earlier on Steven's Discord. Son of a bitch. I'm so stupid. Movie number 2 was this movie is stupid as hell. Number 3 was, do you think the animal has a little spoon necklace
No.
for sniffing crack?
Right. All right. 4 clues. Number 1, newspaper.
Okay.
Number 2,
Newspaper.
peephole.
Peephole?
Yeah. Number 3, wig. And number 4, taxidermy.
Psycho.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Back to me.
Mhm, mhm.
All right. The archaeological site in the opening of The Exorcist takes place where?
Iraq.
Correct. I think Steve got it, but
probably did.
that's
I
gonna have to go
totally
to
got
tape.
it.
I think so
Gonna
too.
have to go
Totally
to
got it
tape.
before him.
No way.
I have to go to the.
I fucking totally did. I'm giving this.
We're gonna have to review the tape on that one.
I'll review
Oh,
the tape.
the guy that edits it's gonna review the tape.
That's
Awesome.
right. I'm stern, but fair.
Russian police. Got it. All right. Letterbox review again.
Ooh.
Clue number 1. The Ring and It Follows. Love Child.
Oh,
Clue number 2.
Smile.
Correct.
Wow.
Thank you.
Clue number 2 was I would simply close my eyes because I'm built different. And number 3 was more like frown.
Love it.
All right. Guess the actor based off these loose descriptions of roles they've played. Okay. So there are 4 of them.
All right.
A guy with mommy issues.
That's every movie.
Yeah. An alcoholic author.
Oh.
The Shining.
No, it's an actor.
Oh, Jack Nicholson.
Wrong.
Shit.
Okay, so you 2 more.
James Caan.
Oh, you guessed, but no, wrong.
All right, we're
So you're
back to zero.
yeah,
Back to square. All right, wait. What was the first one again?
a guy with mommy issues,
Okay.
an alcoholic author,
Okay.
a priest who hates board games, and the last, all right, and the last one, a kid who feeds chocolate to his unusual buddy.
Huh.
Anthony Perkins.
Wrong.
A kid that feeds chocolate. I have no idea.
Okay, you give up?
Yep.
So the answer was Henry Thomas. He played
Ah,
Norman
E.T..
Bates. He plays Norman Bates in Psycho 4.
Oh, dickhead.
He plays Jack Torrance in
Mhm.
Doctor Sleep. He's also the lead in Ouija. He plays the priest. And of course, I'm talking about E.T. as a kid who feeds chocolate to his unusual buddy.
Doesn't he
yes.
feed
Reese's-
peanut butter Reese's
Reese's
Pieces?
Pieces.
Reese's
Is it
Pieces.
technically chocolate? Judges.
Chocolate peanut butter.
Yeah, it's
Or
chocolate
is it
peanut
peanut butter? I don't know. It could,
Misleading.
isn't
Well,
it, it
it's
could just be straight
chocolate.
peanut butter. I
It's
don't
chocolate
know.
coated though, right?
It is chocolate
Oh.
coated. Yes.
So
All right, we'll see.
yeah. I was just in a combative move today.
Because he made me watch Cocaine Bear. This
All right,
is it.
Joe.
All right,
Last
back to me. All right, last one. Match the killer to the
Mm.
horror movie.
Great.
Tonight we have Mary Shaw.
Oh, deadly. Oh, fuck.
Shut
Uh,
up. Just
Yeah.
shut up. It's in my fucking.
Me too.
I see
I
the,
thought
I see the
this is an
poster.
easy one.
Dead silence. Dead
Dead
silence.
silence.
Yeah,
God damn it.
yeah.
I
You
couldn't.
got it,
I,
John.
it just blocked.
It was a mental block, dude. I
Yeah,
had
I know.
her face and Donnie Wahlberg yelling at
Yeah,
me.
you're right. Oh, God damn it.
Okay. Guess the movie by clues about the actors.
Okay.
But I only have 2 clues.
Oh,
Okay.
Clue number 1.
Guess the movie you said, right?
Guess the movie correct
Okay,
about
all right.
clues about the actors in this movie. Clue number 1. His name was Robert Paulson.
Oh, Fight Club. Oh, you're talking about the movie, right?
It's a
Sorry.
horror movie though.
Yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Correct.
All
Yeah.
right.
Wait. Does Steve get a
Yeah.
different guess?
Yeah, whatever. Give it to him.
Yeah, Joe's like so far ahead. He doesn't give a shit.
Um,
All right. My favorite
Son of a
category
bitch.
as of late. Guess the movie based off the IMDb parental guide.
Okay.
Sex and nudity.
yes, please.
A heterosexual couple films themselves having sex. Brief and nothing
Talk
too
Oh, never mind.
brief and nothing too explicit shown. Although we do see brief glimpse of breasts.
Ooh, I like
Mm.
that.
Violence and gore. A man is hit by a speeding ambulance. The ambulance collides with him, sending him flying into a yard. No blood or gore is shown.
Ooh,
That sounds fun.
Profanity.
cool party.
44 uses of fuck, 36 uses of shit, 14 uses of ass, 8 uses of damn, 8 uses of hell, 3 uses of goddamn, 3 uses of bitch, 2 uses of prick, 1 use of dick, 1 use of pussy, 1 use
Oh.
of piss, 1 use
Yes.
of bastard, and 2 to
Yes.
3, he wasn't sure apparently, use of motherfucker.
What parents
Okay.
are counting these though? Seriously,
Uh,
weirdos.
Okay,
mouth.
I have a guess.
oh, okay.
Ooh, give it, daddy.
Bride of Chucky.
Wrong.
Okay.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking, at least 2 instances of smoking. There's nothing else. So
They'll get you. That'll get you.
all right. And finally, frightening and intense scenes. Many lead characters are killed.
Okay.
I mean, the
Friday
only
the
thing
13th, 2009.
Wrong.
I was like, the ambulance is like the only thing that is even giving you a
Well, the
remote
first one
hint.
had
I'm
a
trying to think of
couple
the sex tape
couple
one.
films
A
themselves having
sex
sex.
couple have, yeah. That I mean, I don't recall anything.
I'll give you guys a hint. 'Cause I love giving this hint. we reviewed it on the podcast.
Oh God!
Oh.
Of course we did.
Love it.
What? We read on the podcast and people are boning and get hit by ambulances. What the fuck? That's like.
And many lead characters are killed.
Many
Um,
lead characters. Dawn of the Dead.
Correct.
Wow.
Who's?
Nice.
Oh, Steve. Joe didn't even review that one with us.
I know.
didn't.
He wasn't even
I
on that
didn't.
episode.
Dang it. Fucking shit. You're absolutely right. Oh,
Nice.
that one hurts.
Yeah, I figured
Is that
like, that one's gonna. Yeah, that's it.
All right. So as of right now, before Mr. Editor says that he claimed to get the right point, Steve and I are tied at 3, Joe at 2 for quarter number 1, game number 1, or quarter number 2, game number 1. All right. Cocaine Bear,
Yes.
Yes.
let's do it.
So before we start, Joe and I were having this debate. So you two post your not your IMDb, your Letterboxd reviews.
Mhm.
Which one of you am I going to be closer to? Because I didn't post anything. I haven't told anyone how I felt about Cocaine Bear. I'm curious where you think I'm going to fall.
I
on this.
think you're going to be closer to me with it.
Joe disagrees. I think, right? You think I'm going to be closer?
Yeah.
To
I think he's gonna be on my side.
you? All right, interesting.
Okay.
So let's see.
Well, this one, directed by Miss Elizabeth Banks, 2023. The tagline is "Get in line." An oddball group of cops, criminals, tourists, and teens converge in a Georgia forest where a 500-pound black bear goes on a murderous rampage after unintentionally ingesting cocaine. Yeah, we start this film in a airplane, and this seemingly this drug runner has a bunch of cases of cocaine, and they're doing as drug runners do. And he jumps out of the plane, hits his head, falls, and dies. However, his shipment of cocaine spreads across the forest. So we meet with some people that want the drugs back because they owe some drug cartel or whatever, and they're not going to take no for an answer, led by Mr. Ray Liotta. May he rest in peace. Amazing actor. Sucks that this is his last movie. Then we meet a young girl, like 12, 13, some shit like that, and her friend, and they skip school and they go out into the forest where this cocained out bear is. So we're following the young girl. We're following 2 of the drug guys, played by young Han Solo, and another gentleman, I don't know his name. They go out to the forest as well. Then we have a wonky forest ranger girl who has a crush on this like forest protection guy. He comes out to the forest like, hey, we need to do a search and make sure the animals are all safe. So we follow them around. Then we have Carrie Russell, who is looking for her daughter who just went out to the forest. So we follow her character as she goes to the forest to look for her kid. And we have some low-level thieves that want to rob our drug dealer guys. And then now we're following one of them as they're going to the forest as well. But don't forget, there's one more character, and he's a detective that's going out of his jurisdiction to chase down the cocaine. And he has dogs, or he has one dog. And that's it. I don't know if I missed any characters. Frankly, I don't care. Cocaine Bear. I'll start by saying that, oh yeah, so just to sum it up, we are following all these characters as a drug fueled bear is on a rampage in the forest, going after people, obsessing over cocaine, looking for anything that looks like the cocaine bags, and just going after anyone it sees, and then getting high in the process as well. Yeah, so long story short, there's not a lot I find great about this movie. It's overall going to be a big miss for me, and I'll just defer right away.
All right. Well, I really wasn't excited to watch this, honestly. Like, I saw the trailers, when we went into theaters a few times. I saw it on TV here and there, and I found the actual story more interesting than what this movie was trying to portray it as. But I was like, whatever, I'll watch it since we decided to do it for the podcast. And I gotta say, I actually had like a really fun time with it. The movie's stupid, obviously, but I mean, it's a movie called Cocaine Bear, so I was expecting it to be stupid. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like it doesn't take itself too seriously. Not all the humor lands, but a lot of it did to me. None of the characters are really believable, like in what they're doing and stuff like that. But it just like works with the absurdity of like obviously a bear doing cocaine and going on a drug-fueled rampage. So to me, like it worked for the most part. It was surprisingly gory. I think they made the right decision having all these different storylines, because I think it probably could have got stale if you're just following one or two characters the whole movie. But kind of jumping around, I think it created more scenarios for the Cocaine Bear to do stuff. I don't think we got enough Cocaine Bear though. Like I think we could have gotten more Cocaine Bear in this. When Cocaine Bear's on screen, it's awesome. Like, and I think we could have used more of him. Yeah, and we'll get into more specific scenes, I guess. To me, there's one scene in particular that was like a 10 out of 10. I fucking like absolutely loved it. So yeah, overall, it's nothing like absolutely amazing, but I think it's a fun time. I think it's a perfect movie to watch in a group setting with friends or something like that. And yeah, I mean, it's just fun to me.
So going back to our first episode of the year, we did predictions for, or maybe it was the last episode last year. I don't know, one of the two. We did predictions for what we thought our favorite movies of the year would be. I thought it would be Ghostbusters too, because I have Ghostbusters like 4 essentially, because I'm such a big fan. But my dark horse pick was Cocaine Bear, based off the trailer, and then it's coming out, people are saying, holy fuck, it's super violent, it's super amazing, it's super great. Yeah, no. No, this kind of falls in the same line as Velocipaster to me, where the movie was trying too hard to be a cult classic, and other than the very end, I did not laugh once in this entire movie. I thought it was stupid and so over the top that I thought they were trying too hard, and it showed that they were trying too hard. The only enjoyment I really got out of this is when the Cocaine Bear would actually show up, and like Joe said, it wasn't really all that often. Unfortunately, you don't see the Cocaine Bear very often, probably because he's CGI and they couldn't afford to have him on screen often. So that was a bummer. But also, I had a fun like doing the whole like DiCaprio pointing at the screen from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with all the actors I recognized from this movie, because I kept being surprised by who they got to be in this movie. Like the guy from Modern Family, and you had young Han Solo, and then you had fucking Tormund from Game of Thrones, and I was just like, oh my god, so that's really the only enjoyment I got out of this. I thought they're, unlike Joe, which is the complete opposite of how I feel about it, I thought there were way too many storylines that were completely unneeded. I wish that they just had these characters on like a tour group so that they could just all be together and we follow them getting killed off, as opposed to them jumping like really out of nowhere from story to story. And you're like, okay, who the fuck are these people again? Because sometimes you wouldn't see these people for like 20 minutes and you're like, oh yeah, well, who are these two kids again? I don't remember what their deal was. Oh yeah, they're the kids that are snorting, or they're eating cocaine and having zero effects from it. Those kids. Yeah. Okay, I remember them. I just couldn't. And I, like Todd said, what a bummer last movie to be Ray Liotta. Such a classic actor, to have this as favorite movie. And it's too bad, because I was really, really into this. I'm the one who wanted to review it. I was looking forward to it like all year. It was one of my top dark horses, and it just fell completely flat for me.
Yeah, first of all, for everyone saying I don't like fun, Steve didn't like this movie either, so Steve doesn't like fun as well. No, but one of my main beefs is it's something that you guys both said, and you guys said Cocaine Bear about 17 times in your review right now, and that's exactly what the characters did every single time we mentioned anything about this. It was the same joke over and over and over again, like beat it over the fucking head. Cocaine Bear this, Cocaine Bear that. Let's eat some cocaine. I do cocaine with my friends outside. Oh, do you guys know what it's like? Oh my god, we get it, fucking director and writer. We get that the fucking bear is high. We understand this. It was just like, give me a fucking break. And then 100%. Go ahead, Josh. You came off mute. Fire back.
No, I mean, I was gonna say, you said the director. You know who directed this, right?
Yeah, Banks.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks. Yeah.
Yeah, which she's not a great director for to go there.
Has she done anything else? I don't know.
She did Charlie's Angels.
The revival of Charlie's Angels.
Oh, well.
Great actress though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fantastic. But no, anyway, yeah, and I mirror 100% what Steve said too. Like I literally forgot characters were in this. Like, and they meant nothing to me. Like I did not give a shit about these kids. Where did that little girl, the bear carried her off to a fucking cave or something? I did like the African American cop though. I thought he was fucking hilarious because when he was on the fucking gazebo and he's like, "You just hold on, I'm gonna get down." And his delivery of him trying to figure out how to jump down, and he's just grunting because he realized how high it is. But then like the core, the fight in the bathroom was so poorly put together between the drug dealers or whatever and the other dude, and young Han Solo was like just so underutilized. And then like the fucking twist with like the female cop that's a detective but she's uniformed but her partner is not in a suit, which doesn't make any sense. Her twist coming out of nowhere, I'm working with the drug addicts. Who gives a fuck? We don't even remember you because you're in the movie for 2 minutes 97 minutes ago and we're supposed to care. And the stupid dog subplot, everything has a fucking subplot, and the dog has a subplot. Like how many subplots do we need? So like even my 13-year-old fell asleep. She was thrilled to watch it, and she's like, this movie sucks. And the CGI bear, I mean, come on. I know you can't have a bear in a low budget tearing people up, but I don't know, man. It is just this movie was a mess.
I mean, I can't fault anyone for disliking this movie because it is dumb. I mean, it's really stupid. But I mean, I don't know. Just like for whatever reason, it was just maybe it was the right time. I was in the right mood to
I'm
watch or
glad you liked
something.
it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I just found it fun. Like I thought the Cocaine Bear was great. He was every time he was on screen, he was awesome.
We
And
get
I
it. It's
mean,
on Cocaine Joe. We
will
understand.
you get I know,
I'm
but
kidding.
will you get at least give me the ambulance scene? Because I thought that scene was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was the best
super
one.
gory.
Close the
And it
fucking
was
door, you
that
dumb
whole scene is
motherfucker.
awesome.
Why isn't he closing the door? You piece of shit. Close the fucking
Well,
door.
he did close the.
No,
Oh, you
he
mean the
didn't close the door.
ambulance door? The ambulance door. Well,
And okay,
she was going very fast.
oh, okay, the fucking stupid fuck forest ranger blowing that kid's head off.
Oh yeah,
She
I
closed her
wasn't
eyes
expecting
before
that.
she shot.
Yes, she did. But I mean, I
Oh,
loved that scene. That was the sequence I think was a 10 out of 10 for me. And like once that happened, like just seeing fucking Cocaine Bear like fucking in the air and just, you know, like fucking him just fucking mauling that kid and his fucking hand just fucking just kind of like splits and shit. And you know, the woman fucking falling out in her face, grinding the pavement and shit. I was like, wow, this is actually pretty brutal. So like that, like after that happened, I was like, okay, I'm like along for the ride here. And then you get fucking baby bears doing the cocaine too at one point.
if I
I
hear
don't know.
Cocaine
Like
Bear one more time,
I
fucking
enjoy.
freak out.
I mean, I enjoyed the guy's love for his dog too. Like at first he like didn't like it. I thought that part was actually really funny when he called the rescue or whatever. He's like, I was supposed to be getting like a friendly dog or like one you can like play with more, and this one just seems really fancy. And I was like, I thought that was actually pretty clever. And then he grows to kind of love it. And yeah, I mean, I like that. I think he's probably one of the best characters. I agree with you, Todd. The detective character. I actually thought most of his jokes were hit pretty well. But yeah, I mean, all like you said, not all the jokes hit, but you know, some do. And I thought Ray Liotta did a good job here, like for you know what he was given as sort of the villain character. And it was great to see him getting fucking mauled at the end was quite gruesome actually. His innards coming out and shit. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. No, I'll give you the ambulance scene. It was cool. I liked it.
I'm not giving you the ambulance scene, and I'll tell you why. Just really quickly. So I thought the actions of the ambulance scene was good, but I had three major problems with them. One, and I don't remember off the top of my head what it was, the song choice they used for that scene, I thought was garbage. I thought they could have picked a way better song that fit the mood of that scene. Number two is there's too much CGI in it. You know, a lot of it was so obviously a computer. It just didn't look good. You know, some of it was okay, but the majority wasn't. And number three, they're like making jokes during that whole scene. And I thought them trying to make it too funny kind of ruined it. You know, it could have just been a violent scene to just showcase the bear. And sure, it could be funny through just the way the gurney is like, you know, scraping that girl and all that stuff. But then that's my whole kind of complaint about this movie. They put too much into it. You know, between the silly music and the CGI and the jokes, they ruined what it was otherwise could have been a great scene to me.
It's kind of an easy one too, man. Like it writes itself almost. Like, okay, the bear's high, it's on a rampage. Let's just kill people. But trying to make everything like be cult classic, whatever. It just you can't force it, man. But I thought the funniest scene, which is something I relate to every fucking day, and all the fathers out there do as well, or mothers, is when Ray Liotta's grandson tells him like, "Hey, look at me, Grandpa," and he fucking he does the stupidest, like he jumps backwards. That's all he does in a ball pit, and he's like, Kids see that shit all the time. Like they'll spin in a circle, and you're like, "Cool." I thought it was just hilarious, but yeah, man, he's such a presence, man. Ray Liotta and that fucking voice. It sucks, man. You're getting older and your heroes die, but rest in peace once again to him. But yeah, we need more young Han Solo in movies, dude. He's a great actor, and he's wasted in this.
Yeah, I got nothing else. I don't know. It's like at the end of the day, it's Cocaine Bear. Like that's exactly what it is. Like it's when Cocaine Bear is on screen, it's great.
Oh my God,
like when
you
he's
said
not on
Cocaine Bear
screen,
3 times.
I mean, that's
I'm
what the
kidding.
movie's
I know-
called.
I know,
and
I'm
that's what
kidding,
it
I'm
is. He was great. The guy, the bear loved its cocaine. Does it have anything to do with the actual true story? Absolutely not. The bear ingested cocaine and instantly died. Pretty much. That was the story, the actual story. And now it's stuffed somewhere in Kentucky, right, Todd? I think.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I think it's
so.
stuffed in
I think
Kentucky.
it is.
Yeah,
Is it?
it's
I'm
at
not-
a. It's at a. They found the bear and they stuffed it, and now it's at like a roadside attraction somewhere. And yeah, I don't. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if I know the guy died. I don't know if they found like who's the cocaine belonged to
It's in
or the
Lexington.
cartel. Yeah. So there you
An
go.
hour and a half away. I'm about to go see it. Oh,
Yeah,
they
you should.
gave the poor fucking taxidermy bear bright red eyes,
Oh,
like it's high.
That is the most fucking American thing, though, right? A bear gets high with cocaine, dies, and they stuff it and make it a roadside attraction.
Stuff it, baby. Stuff it.
So,
They probably ate him too if they got him fresh.
yeah, very possible.
I once saw a person on the freeway, or not on the freeway, but like off the road, skinning a roadkill deer in Kentucky. So I have no doubt in my mind they found this bear fresh enough they fucking ate him.
Yeah. So I will tell you what my biggest laugh was, and it was nothing that the movie actually did. Like it's just something because it made me laugh because of our podcast. It's the very, very, very last scene of the movie where he's on a truck full of goats and he puts the cocaine bag in the back. And I started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna do fucking cocaine goat to the next one. Joe is gonna die. Yeah. But unfortunately,
I would love it.
he takes the bag. He like realizes what he did, takes the bag back, and goes back in the front seat. That's the only time I actually laughed in this whole fucking thing. So it's yeah. Again, it's just they try too hard. These movies that try to be cult classics instead of making it a cult classic kind of naturally, it just doesn't work. There's a natural flow to these things, and that's what I felt about Velocipaster too. They wanted to be that cult classic, and
Yeah.
I'd heard so much from people that, oh my God, this movie is super violent. You've never seen anything like it before. This
No.
feels like what someone who doesn't watch a lot of horror would think is super violent, But as a
Yeah.
horror fan, no, I've seen this fucking.
I mean,
million times.
it's gorier than I expected though for a movie that's not really a horror movie, right? I mean, it's a creature feature, but I wouldn't really call this a horror movie per se. It's it's surprisingly gory for like kind of a mainstream movie. So yeah, I mean, props to I guess Elizabeth Banks and something like that. Maybe I'd like to see her do a horror movie because I think maybe she could do something cool there. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, the movie definitely is trying to be a cult classic. Is it going to be a cult classic? I don't think so. I think this movie is going to come and go and kind of be be forgotten in maybe 10 years. But yeah, I mean, I think if you go along for the ride, I think you'll enjoy it. Me anyway. Todd and Steve, not so much.
Joe was just doing fucking cocaine the entire time. That's why he's into it. He's like,
Maybe.
yeah, get that fucking, yeah, get him. I guess PSA, if you have a drug issue, take it seriously, right? Yeah, I just fundamentally disagree on this one. It was
It's all right.
bad.
Lately, I've been getting teamed up on here, Steve. I've been the
you
one
bully
liking the
me.
movies, and you guys have been the ones hating it. So, I'll it's good to have the differing opinion.
Yeah, for
Apparently, it's been all me lately, but
Do we want to rate it before we get into the listener questions?
Yeah, well, it's still fresh. I don't think a ton of the questions were necessarily about Cocaine Bear. So
Okay. Well, Joe, you're the highest, aren't you?
no, you guys start. I'm gonna end on the high note.
All right. This is a contender for worst of the year at a 1 out of 5.
Wow.
yeah, it's like in my top 10 right now. That's how bad of a year it's been. So it won't be worst of the year for me, but I did not love it. It's not like the worst movie I've seen. Like I still had some enjoyment out of it, but not a lot. So I gave it 1.5 stars out of 5.
Ouch. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to make my top 10 of the year, anything like that, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. Yes, it's stupid, but I think if you're into like, sort of just dumb fun, I think you could get some enjoyment out of this. So I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Nice. Well, I'm always glad when someone enjoys something, right? I'll never be upset that someone had fun watching something and I didn't. I think it's just a weird take if anyone does do that. So let's get into the questions. So you can ask us those questions on social media at the Horror Squad Podcast, or on our Discord. You could just join us and write our questions there. It is a really great community. People have been really tight this week, with everything that happened. So big shout out to everyone in there. So my first question comes to us from a very special man by the name of Steve, who just slithered his way into the question segment.
As he does, usually.
As he does. And this question is actually for Todd. Motherfucker, you wrote another book. God damn, you're like Stephen King quick on these things.
I didn't know where this is going. What did I do?
Please tell us about your brand new book.
Thank you. So this one spawned from me being in Texas for the short amount of time I was there, and the drivers in Texas are assholes, to say the least. We're talking like, if it's raining, they don't care. Let's go 90 and fucking tailgate you and try to swerve around you and piss you off. I'm sure it's the same over there on the East Coast, Joe. I'm not sure, but man, in Texas it's fucking awful. So this one is about Anthony, who is a serial killer that thinks very highly of himself. He's a fucking prick, but he thinks he's really special. And he goes around targeting people that commit road rage. So he actually seeks out these people that are driving like assholes and tailgating people and cutting people off, things like that. Meanwhile, we have a couple detectives that are searching for who's murdering all these random people because they're not connected. You have a young guy driving one of those, Honda Accords that's all souped up, or you have a dude driving a truck, or a female driving a SUV. Doesn't matter. So they're never connected. So we're following Anthony as he's brutally murdering people, taking them back to his personal cemetery to worship them. And then we have the detectives trying to capture him. All my books are extremely violent. That's think trauma, over the top violence with it. I think these would make great trauma movies, and it's out now for 99 cents. That's cheaper than fucking McDonald's, baby. So get yourself a Road Rage over on Amazon.com.
It's a bargain.
It's a bargain.
And for the record, Todd has now written 4 books in the same span that George R.R. Martin wrote 0 of them.
That's right.
And big difference, I don't have HBO.
Right. Yeah, you're doing this on your fucking spare time between moving,
Yeah, I know. So yeah, Road Rage out in Amazon.com near you.
Yeah. So
Lovely.
4 books, 3 moves. So there's a race between how many times you move and how many times you write books.
I'm ahead of the moving.
Yeah, not by much though. Moving's making a comeback. All right. So our series of questions. So we only got one person who sent us some questions this week. Are from Eric. First question: why does Todd hate fun?
Well, this is because it was thought that I would be the only one that didn't like Cocaine Bear. So Eric, you can suck it.
That's right.
The end. I like fun. It's just like, when you have limited time, is like you get older and you got like mow the lawn and take kids to fucking football and all that shit. It's like,
Get off my lawn.
I am turning into fucking Clint Eastwood from that movie.
Gran Torino.
Yeah, Gran Torino, but not racist. But yeah, man, it sucks. Like, it just sucks when you like spend an hour and a half, 2 hours, and the movie or whatever entertainment didn't entertain you, and then you're like, damn, I could have been watching something better. So
This movie was only like an hour 25, so we'll give it that too. It wasn't too long.
All right. His next question: what would you do to improve this movie? So I'll go to Joe first. So you already gave it a pretty high score. What would you do to improve it, to give it that nudge over 4?
Sure, definitely more Cocaine Bear. Obviously, like, he just put him in more up the body count, and yeah, just make it even crazier, I guess, like more violent deaths and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, maybe tone down some of the outrageousness of it just a little bit, and like, yeah, I mean, I do agree the movie was trying too hard, and so maybe tone that down a little bit, and you probably have a better movie.
Were you, Todd?
I would cut the kids subplot altogether, as well as the Carrie Russell's plot, and I would make it only the two drug dealers going back to the mountain. But then to piggyback off what Steve said about a tour group, them having to like infiltrate or whatever, just tag along with that tour group so they can get like a tour of where they think the drugs were landed instead of them going off on their own. And then being besieged by that bear, and they all have to like, maybe they're all on the fucking ranger station together and they have to fend it off, and it's just fucking going ape shit and killing everybody. Yes, add more kills and then remove the CGI as much as possible.
And that's, yeah, I agree with pretty much all of what Todd said. I think they need to bring these characters together somehow so that they're all in one place and you're kind of following one story. You can have these little side stories within the group, you know, as they all have their own motivations for being there, but have them together so you're not jumping around storylines so far apart from each other that you don't remember what the fuck the storyline was about by the time you get there. I think it should have more focus on the killing, less focus on the comedy. I thought the comedy was too forced. I think with a premise like that, the comedy kind of writes itself, and it should be a natural comedy. You don't have to do these fucking goofy ass over the top jokes. Just the fact that it's a bear attacking you on cocaine can lead to some comedy, like situational comedy that it's just natural. This just felt too forced, and more more bear for sure. But I get why they probably didn't. But if you could afford all those fucking big actors, you don't need these bad. They didn't add much to the story personally. Like, yes, it's cool to see all these people, Ray Liotta and like I said before, the Modern Family guy and Tormund and all those people, but they weren't needed. If they could have taken that budget and put it into more bear, it could have been a better movie, in my opinion.
I also think had Cocaine Bear made its way into a like small town or city, and just kind of wreaked havoc in there. Like, imagine like Cocaine Bear like running inside a supermarket and it's like taking people out, and then it sees like the sugar and it thinks it's cocaine, and like it goes out and like starts going. That would have been funny. Like, so like do something like that. Like that would have been really great.
Yeah, I completely agree. Or like even the cocaine gets into a goat, right? Like they kind of tease in this, and they all get like super like paranoid about it and just like falls over. Like a normal thing what cocaine would do. Just try to subvert expectations and stuff, and not make the obvious joke. This next question. What other drug-fueled wild animal movie would you want to see next? I'm choosing Methed Out Monkeys.
None. Let's just stop. Stop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need any more like drug-fueled animal movies, but I think I think Asylum is doing like a shark movie, like a not shark, alligator. I think there's like a methed out gator or something like that. Yeah, so
Methadone.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
they're gonna do a lot of these.
I think Cocaine Bear is enough, and let's move on. One and done.
Yeah. So I would like to see sloths on Smack, because I think sloths are funny because they're so slow. But on Smack they go like crazy, like fast, and people don't expect it. I think that would be great.
I like
it. But shout out to Creature Feature and Eric, who added their own kind of in our Discord. So I'm going to read out a few of them. You have high hyenas, smoked out snakes, weed whales, ganja giraffe, heroin hyenas, crack cats, which could be fun.
Ooh, crack cats.
Acid alligator, coked crocs, and marmosets on Molly. So.
I think reality though, all these animals would just be fucking like
they would die.
Yeah.
It'd probably kill most of them. Yeah. Like cocaine, like the actual Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, his heart would fucking explode.
Mm-hmm. I think they said Cocaine Bear, like the amount of cocaine he ingested would kill like any animal in the entire like world. Like it would have killed anything. Like it was like an outrageous amount that it ingested.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, and our last question from Eric, and the last question for this week. How can the fun hater justify a higher ranking for Skinamarink than this movie?
I'm still the fun hater?
You're the one who gave Skinamarink a higher mark than this.
Because at least Skinamarink
was...
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I also want to Steve to defend rating Winnie the Pooh higher, Blood and Honey higher than this as well.
Okay, because I think Skinamarink had some legitimate terrifying moments in it. Like there's some unsettling things. Like you hear a voice whispering, telling a young boy to stick the knife in his eye. That's fucked up. Like even if the movie was boring and you're staring at a fucking wall for 90% of the time, there's some stuff that was effective. Unlike Cocaine Bear, man, it was just one joke over and over and over again that, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not the right audience for it, honestly, or just watched at the wrong time. No, you know what? It's just not a good movie. I'll leave it at that.
And to answer Joe's little question there, honestly, I think, you know, Blood and Honey took itself seriously. You know, as like bad as it, like, it wasn't great, but it took itself seriously. It was a slasher. It had some good kills. It didn't make goofy jokes. You know, it was a straight up like horror film, right? So it, even though it was a silly premise, they didn't make fucking goofy jokes out of it. They actually took it seriously and made something different. You know, Cocaine Bear was kind of just like, I don't know, it's just too goofy for me. So that's why I gave it. But also, to be fair to Cocaine Bear, I also saw Blood and Honey with a group of horror fans who were having fun, whereas I watched Cocaine Bear alone, you know, in my basement. So there's that. Well, actually, my wife watched it with me, and she didn't like it much either. So there you go. And that's it. That's all for the questions. So thank you very much
Cool.
to everyone who asked some questions.
We got a couple shout outs.
Ooh, shout outs. Nice.
Shout outs to our friends in Austria. We have been on your iTunes charts for about 2 months now. So thank you very much. Like I always say, if you know, from another country, we would love to hear from you in an email, on Discord, Instagram, whatever it is, about horror films from your country that we should watch. But for whatever reason, no one ever responds to this request. So that'd be awesome if we got some from Austria. Saudi Arabia, we're still on your charts. And I saw that we're on the English charts again today. So thank you to all those countries. And of course, wherever you're at, whatever country you're in, thank you for listening to us.
Awesome. Yeah, and you can like feel free to write in your native language, and we can just use a translate, you know, like app to figure it out too. So, all right. So that is going to be it for this week. We hope you enjoyed our review of Cocaine Bear. Next week, in honor of Michelle, we are going to be reviewing Gonjiam Haunted Asylum, which is from 2018. Anyone know where to find this right now?
It's on Tubi and Shudder.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So you can go and watch it on Tubi and Shudder for next week. In the meantime, you can join us on our Discord. All you got to do is send us a private message on there. DM us on our any of our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we will send you a link to our Discord. Completely free, great community. We do movie clubs every month. We just talk anything and everything horror and non-horror. So come and join that community. It's amazing. You can email us anytime, the Horror Squad Podcast at gmail.com. And Texas Frightmare Weekend coming up in just about a month and a half. A bunch of people from the community are going to be there May 26th through the 28th. Some people are going a day early, I believe. So if you want to come and join in on the unofficial, official Horror Squad Podcast meetup, you can do that. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week for Gonjiam. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.